welcome to another green marble crochet tutorial. For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this 3-strand basket storage container. Yeah, I've been meaning to make this for a while simply because this place gets really messy and I just need somewhere to store all my excess yarn, this and that, you know. So yeah, that's what we're doing. There's really not a lot to say about it. We can probably just get started. Yes. However, if you haven't subscribed and you would like to subscribe to join me for some more tutorials, I would love to have you join me. A big thank you to my patrons. Thank you for your support. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. Yeah, that's it. Also, if you need to get in contact with me very quickly for anything, if you need help with a design, a pattern, or anything like that, look for me on Instagram. I'm the_green_marble. So you can find me there, and I'll be able to help you with whatever you need. Yeah. Alright, so we can probably just get straight into making this. Alright, now let's begin by having a quick look at the tiny details on the label. So they're all the same, and this is the brand that we're using. Yeah, 100% extra soft, which is good. And I've got these different country specifications, but here are the tiny relevant details. What do we got here? It's saying I should use, what does it say I should use? A 3.5 to a 4mm hook. But as I'm going to be crocheting 3 strands together, I'm going to be using a 10mm. Well, that's what I used to make the basket beach bag, so this is kind of the same thing. This is actually the same yarn that I used to make that bag, so it's the same brand, same stuff. So yes, that's it. I'm going to be using this, but obviously in more neutral sort of autumny tones. Yes, that's what we're doing. Alright, let's begin. Alright, now to begin, we're going to start by making a slip knot, and we're going to do that with all 3 of the yarns at the same time. So what we do is we hold the ends just like this, all 3 together. Then we wrap them around our fingers like this, and we pull through the loop. And we try not to make that tail end too loose because we're going to, too long, because we're going to crochet it in as we go along. So, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust our knot to the hook, just like this. Then pull the working end tight, like that. Okay, now we're going to make a chain of 4. So, chain stitches, yarn over, pull through, might be a bit tight, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's 2, then 3 and 4. So there's a chain of 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the first chain. So counting back, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to shove your hook through the top of that chain at the beginning. Yarn over, pull through a loop. It's a bit tight because we're working with 3 yarns. Pull through a loop and then pull that loop through the last chain. And then we've made a chain circle. So there's our chain circle. And if you pull that circle apart, you can sort of see the center of it just there. And you're going to need to do that because we're going to be working single crochets into the center just there. But first what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 1. So 1. And we're going to work 12 single crochets into the center of that chain circle. And it's going to seem a little tight when you're doing this, but what you do is you just sort of push the stitches to the side so that you've got a little bit more room at the end to put your final stitches. So for a single crochet going into the center of that chain circle, so you insert your hook into the center, yarn over, pull through a loop, then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops on the hook. That's a single crochet. So you're going to do 12 of those into the center of the chain circle. We'll meet back up once we've done those and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, now here I am, and I'm just about to put in my 12th single crochet. So you see, you really have to push all the stitches aside like this so you can get that final stitch in there, just like this. It may look a little tight, but it's going to be okay. So there is number 12. There we go. And you do have to push that aside because you're going to have to see where your chain of 1 is at the beginning. So where are we? There we are. So there's my chain of 1 from the beginning, just that. Where are we? Just there. What you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch into the stitch at the top of that chain of 1. So it's going to seem obviously very tight, but it's going to be okay. So slip stitch, just like we did with that chain at the beginning of the work. Try and get through all strands of the yarn just there. So just like that. No, that's not through the whole of it. Hang on. That's better. So just like that, slip stitching to close the round. There we go. So that's round 1. So I think round 1's probably going to be the most difficult, but from here on it should be fine. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to chain up 1. And we're counting, yeah, well, no, we're not counting this one as anything. So this is just a chain of 1. Don't worry about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to, not including the stitch right beneath that chain of 1, we're going to put a single crochet into the next stitch along. So 1 single crochet into that stitch just there. 1. Then into the stitch after that, you're going to put 4 single crochets together. So we'll do that together. So 1. And, oh, it's quite tight. And 2. And 3. And 4. All into the same stitch. Just like this. Oh, I forgot how tight this can be. Oh, yeah, just like that. Okay, so 4. All right, I am struggling with that. All right, so that's what that looks like. Maybe try and keep your stitches a bit looser than I am, so it's just a little bit easier. Yeah, anyway, so moving on, what we do is into the next 2 stitches along, we're just going to put 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, just like this. And then into the next stitch after that, 1 single crochet, just like that. There we go. So now you've got a corner and the first side complete. So into the next stitch along, you're going to put 4 single crochets. So we'll do that again together. 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 single crochets. So there's corner number 2. Then into the next 2 stitches along, you're going to put 1 single crochet. So 1, and next stitch along, 2. Then you're going to repeat the process that we do for the corners. So you're going to put 4 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4, followed by two single crochets into the next 2 stitches along. So you might want to shove that aside so you can see the next stitch. So just in there, 1, and next stitch, another 1. So it's 2 single crochets into single stitches. And then the next stitch along will be, what have we got? We've got 4 stitches into the next stitch for the final corner. So 1, 2, 3, and 1 more, 4. Now, what you should be left with at the end of this is 1 final stitch before that before the chain of 1 at the beginning. So see that stitch just there is your final stitch. You put 1 single crochet into that. There we go. So that's completed round 2. Now what we do is we slip stitch into the stitch above that chain of 1 from the beginning. So there's your chain of 1, slip stitch into the stitch above that to close the round, just like this. Oh, yeah, just like that. There we go. So round 2, we're doing really well. Very good. All right, now for round 3, what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 1. So chaining up 1, we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next stitch along, or the first stitch along, then another single crochet into the next stitch along. So it's 2 single crochets into 2 stitches, 1 each. And then what we're going to do into the next stitch is we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Now there should be 5 single crochets across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now into the next stitch along, we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Now turning to this side, we're going to put 5 single crochets across. So 5 single crochets across. Okay, now I'm at the next corner. I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So 1 and 2. Now another 5 single crochets across. All right, now here I am at the final corner. So we're going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So 1 and 2. Now there should be 3 remaining stitches till you get to the end. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. So that's good. That makes up the 5 along this side, including the 2 that we did at the beginning of the round. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in that stitch at the top of the chain 1 from the beginning. So slip stitching to close the round. And we're going to get started on round 4. Okay, for round 4, we're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to put 2 single crochets along. So 2 single crochets, 1 each into the next stitch. So, or next 2 stitches, sorry. 1 and 2 across. Then into the next stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Now there should be 6 single crochets across. So 1, 2, so 6 single crochets across. Alright, and here I am at the next corner. So into the next corner we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Now 6 stitches across. So we've done 6 stitches across. Now 2 stitches into the next stitch along. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. And 2. Now another 6 stitches along, then we'll be at the last corner. Alright, now here we are at the last corner, so once again 2 stitches into the same stitch, 1 and 2, 2. Now there should be 4 more stitches till the end of the, well, to the end of the round, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and that makes up the 6 stitches along this back row, because this is going to be the back of the basket, including the 2 that we did at the beginning of the round. So now you're just going to find that stitch above the chain at the beginning, the chain of 1. You're going to slip stitch to close the round. And there we go, that's round number 4. Okay, now moving on to round 5, we're going to chain up 1. We're going to do 2 single crochets along, so 1 and 2. Then we're going to do our first corner, which is 2 stitches into the next stitch, so 1 and 2 single crochets into that next stitch. Now, because we're pretty much just adding an extra stitch per side, the next count of stitches along will be 7. So the last one was 6, this one's going to be 7. So you're going to do 7 single crochets across. We don't have to go through this whole round together. So it's going to be 7 single crochets across till you get, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then into the next stitch will be 2 single crochets into the same stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 single crochets into the next stitch for this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 single crochets into this stitch. Then you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets left to finish the round. So I'm going to leave you to finish up this round, and then we'll move on to round. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Round 6. So this is round 5. We're going to move on to round 6 after this. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now that we've finished round 5, we're going to move on to round 6. So to do that, we're going to chain up 1. We're going to put a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, and then moving on to the next one, 2. And then to form the first corner, we're going to put 4 single crochets into the next stitch. So into the same stitch, 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's how we're doing our corners. We're going to be putting 4 stitches into the same stitch. Now moving on, the next 8 stitches are going to have a single crochet in them. So 1, 2, 8 stitches. Alright, here I am at the next corner, so we're going to be putting 4 stitches into the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's how we're doing it. We're doing 4 into the corner stitches, and there's going to be 8 stitches along each side. So you're going to do that till you get to the end. By the time you get to the end, there should be 6 remaining stitches to finish up the round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there'll be 6 remaining stitches to finish up the round, including the 2 that you did at the beginning. So that's the pattern that you're following for round 6. Once we've done round 6, we're going to meet back up and we're going to talk about how we're going to do round 7. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now that we're up to round 7, what we're going to do is we're going to once again chain up 1 to begin the round. We're going to put in our 2 single crochets across. So 1 and then 2. Now into the next stitch, we're going to put our 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and, where are we? 2. Then into the next stitch along, we're going to put another 2 single crochets. So another 2 into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Now moving along, you're going to have 10 stitches with 1 single crochet. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Until you get to the next corner where you go, where are we? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Till you get to the next corner where you're going to do 2 stitches into the next stitch, followed by another 2 stitches into the stitch after that. So it's 2 lots of 2 with 10 in between. So then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on until you get to the end. So once you get to the last row, so you've done your last corner, you should have 8 remaining stitches till the end of the round. So once you have that, you'll slip stitch into the top of the chain 1 from the beginning to close the round. And then we will move on to round 8. We'll move on to round 8. Okay, see you soon. Okay, here I am, and I finished round 7. Now we're moving on to round 8. So to do that, we're going to chain up 1. We're going to put in our 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches. So 1, then the next stitch will be 2. Then into the next stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Then another 2 into the next stitch. So 2 into the next stitch, 1 and 2. Now because there were 10 across the side for the previous row, there's going to be 12 across the side for the previous row this time because we were increasing by 2 per side for the last round. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then the 2 stitches after that will have 2 stitches into each one. So for the next 12, there's going to be 1 stitch into every stitch. Let's do this together. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there'll be single crochets into all those stitches. Then for the next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets, same stitch. Then the next stitch after that, 2 single crochets, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there'll be a single crochet into all of those stitches, followed by 2 into the next stitch, another 2 into the stitch after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then 2 into the same stitch and 2 into the stitch after that. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 remaining stitches to finish up the round. So I'll see you at the end of this round and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now that we've finished round 8, we're going to start on round 9. So to do that, we're going to chain up 1 again. We're going to single crochet into the first stitch along, single crochet into the second stitch along, then into the next stitch we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch, so 1 and 2. Then into the next stitch after that will be another 2 single crochets into the same stitch, so 1 and 2. Oh, why is that hard? Okay, now because we've increased by 2 per side, what we've got now is 14 stitches across to work with till we get to the next increases for the corner. So what it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then 2 into this stitch, 2 into the stitch after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2 into the next stitch, 2 into the stitch after that. Followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2 into the next stitch, followed by 2 into the stitch after that. Then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is perfect because that makes up the 12 for this side, because you got the 2 that you started with at the beginning. Okay, so once we've finished this round, we're going to meet up and we're going to, what is this, round 9? Yes. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that will be round 9. All right, once we've finished that, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about round 10. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now that I've finished round 9, we're up to round 10. So what we're going to do, I've already chained up 1. We're going to put a single crochet into the first 2 stitches. So 1, next stitch, another one, number 2. And then we're going to just repeat the last round, but obviously there's going to be more stitches per side, so we're putting 2 stitches into the next stitch, so 1 and 2. Then moving on to the next stitch along is going to be 3, well no, not 3, but 1, 2 into the next stitch along, 1, 2. So it's 4 stitches to increase the corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then your side is going to have 16 stitches. So moving on from this, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then the next 2 stitches are going to have 2 per stitch. So 2, 4. Then there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then for this corner, it's going to be 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then you've got 2, 4. You should have 14 stitches remaining for the end, so we'll see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's perfect. So we've got the exact stitch count we need for this round. So I'll meet you at the end of this round and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now that I've finished round 10 and I feel like the base is big enough now, so I'm going to start building up the sides. So there'll be no more increases, we're just going to be building up the sides. But what we're going to do first is we've got to turn the stitches around so that they're working up the side. So how we're going to do that is we're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to be putting in back post stitches. So we're going to do that into every stitch around, and there should be a stitch count of 80. If you count them all the way around, there should be 80 stitches all up. So what we're going to do is back post single crochets around all of those 80 stitches. So you see, here's the first stitch. Get a bit closer. See if we can focus. There we go. Try to bump the camera. And then here is our first stitch just here. So what we do is we go in behind the stitch and we push out through the side just here on the right. We push the hook in front of the stitch and out through the back, just like this, so that you've gone around the post. Then what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, pull a loop around that stitch. Oh, could sing a little treat. No. Sorry. Pull a loop around that stitch, then yarn over, pull through 2. And that's a back post single crochet. So we'll do that again together. So you're going in. So here's the next stitch just here. You're going in behind it, out through the side. Alrighty,
and
right
here
side.
Are the finished
Pushing in front of the stitch and out
so yes,
through the
this
other
is how
side.
I envisioned wearing them last night when I was thinking about it. I wanted to pair them up with this jumper that I made. Sweater,
then yarn
roll neck, off the shoulder roll neck.
Crochet.
I think it looks really good.
How we're doing that.
Yeah,
and you're going to do
and
that
of course, very simple to make. Not much time at all.
80.
I hope you liked them. I hope you enjoyed this
tutorial. Back up again, and we're going to talk about what we're going to do next.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, see you soon. Okay, now here I am with my 80 back post stitches all the way around. So you can see this is what it's going to start to look like. You start building up the sides. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch into that stitch right above the chain one from the beginning. Close the round like this. And now what we do is we just chain up 1 and chain up 1 and single crochets as normal into all the stitches all the way around. So we're not doing any weird funny stitches like back posts or front posts, just normal stitches all the way around. So you can see we've chained up 1. We're just going to go straight into the next stitch along, single crochet, like this, single crochet, and then moving into the next stitch, single crochets all the way around, and yeah, there should still be 80 of them. And that's what we're doing. And once you get to the end of this round, you're just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain one from the beginning to close the round. Did I chain up one? Yes, I did. To close the round, and then you're just going to repeat the process, and you're going to do it to the height that you would like it to be. However, what we're going to do is we're going to stop, I think, at about 5 rows from the top. So you're going to stop, say you've got 5 more rows to go. You're going to stop there because we're going to do handles. So we're going to meet back up. We're going to talk about how we're going to do the handles once you've got 5 rows left to go. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now I have crocheted up the side to a height that I'm really happy with. Obviously it's too big to show you just here, but I'm sure in the beginning of this tutorial I'm going to show you what the end result is like, so you'll see how it is. So what I've done now, I've got 5 more rows or 5 more rounds left to go till I'm finished. So what I've done is I have, and again I'll show you this in the beginning of the intro of this tutorial, but what I've done is I have marked out, try not to bump everything. So I've marked out on the sides, on this side and also this side just here, I've marked out 8 stitches in the middle of these 2 sides. So these 2 corresponding sides, 2 opposite ends. And here's the side where I'm working, well, where I'm beginning the rounds from. So I've marked out 8 stitches in the middle of each of these sides. And what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm turning back to where I am at the moment. So here we are. I'll try and lift this up, give you a better look at what's going on. So here are the sides that I've marked out. So one just here, this side just here, and then obviously this side just here. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to put this down again. So to start the next round, where's my hook? There it is. So going to begin another round as we normally would. Try and get that a bit neater, yes, just like this. Alright, so beginning another round, like we normally would, so we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to start putting single crochets into all the stitches around. But once we get to where I've marked out those 8 stitches, I'm going to meet back up with you, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do at that point. Okay, now here I am at the point where I've marked out this first lot of 8 stitches across. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a chain of 8. So here we are. Make a chain of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now what we're going to do is we're going to skip these 8 stitches that we've marked out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to put a single crochet into the next stitch along. So skipping that 8th stitch just there, single crochet into the next stitch along. And then we're going to put a single crochet all the way around till we get to the next lot of 8 that we've marked out. You're going to once again chain 8 and skip those 8 stitches that you've marked out, single crochet into the stitch after that. Then just complete the round as normal, slip stitch into the top of the chain 1 at the beginning to close the round. Then for the next round we're going to meet back up again, because we'll meet back up once you get to the chain that you've marked out. Oh no, the chain that you've done and skipped these 8 stitches. So for the next round, start the round as normal and then crochet, single crochet till you get to the chain. Once you get to the chain, we're going to meet back up and we're going to talk about what we're going to do at that point. Okay, see you soon. Okay, now here I am back at the point where I put in my chain of 8. So here, that's that. I've left in the stitch markers so you can better see where I am, what I'm doing, because this kind of blends this combination of colors. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to count across our chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, just making sure we know which stitches we're going to be going into. So what we're going to do is we're just going to single crochet into the top of each chain along. So first one just here. Let's get a bit closer. Here's my first one, just going into that first chain, making sure I'm going into each strand and single crocheting just like this. So along the top of each, where are we? Where's the next one? So that's 1, this is 2. 2, and next one along will be 3. 3, 4. Oh, yep, that's right. 4. And 5. 6. 2 more. 7. 7. And 8. So there we, okay. There we go. Get into that 8th one. It's a little tight, it's a little tricky, but we can do it. Come on, come on. Hang on. Okay, and 8. There we go. Now all we're going to do is move straight onto the next stitch along. There we go, next stitch, just like this. And you're going to put your single crochets in till you get to the next chain of 8, where you will repeat that process of putting the single crochets into the top of each chain. Then you're going to finish up the round, and from there on you're just completing the remaining 3. Yeah, you're going to be completing the remaining 3 rounds till the end. So we've done 1, and this is number 2 of those last 5 rounds that we're doing. So that's just how that goes. That's how we're going from now on. We're going to finish up our remaining 3 rounds after this, and then we're going to be finished. So yeah, like I said, I'll be showing you the basket in the intro, so you'll already see what it looks like. I don't think we need to meet back up again. I think we're pretty good with this. Obviously, once you're done, just tie off and weave in your ends. Tie off and weave in your ends, and then you're finished. You finished your basket. You finished your storage box. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I really love the way this is turning out. I think it looks really good. So yes, thanks for watching, and I will see you again shortly.